Hey everyone, it's Tammy. I just feel led to share something. So today I went outside to do some Bible reading, and I'm sitting there, I'm praying. It's like, Lord, I used to feel so comforted being outside in the weather and seeing everything, and just I felt at peace. And now it's like everywhere I go and all the time, it's hard for me to breathe because of I'm dealing with some things that causes dizziness and that causes disorientation sometimes, and I'm going to physical therapy for it. And I had a little bit of relief Monday after my appointment, but it has started to come back again. So it was a bit discouraging, but really I thank God for just that little bit of relief that I did have. But I literally just flipped open the Bible, and I know a lot of people are like, don't do that, but I just sometimes I feel like that's going to be the best thing for me to do. And so I flip open, and a bookmark was actually in the spot, and I had just put the bookmark in there because I have extra bookmarks. And so I already had this portion highlighted because I have read through one time before the whole Bible. You know, I'm slowly going back through it again. But it was Lamentations 3:55 through 59. And it says, I called upon thy name, O Lord, out of the low dungeon. Thou hast heard my voice. Hide not thine ear at my breathing, at my cry. Thou dwellest near in the day that I called upon thee. Thou saidst, fear not. O Lord, thou hast pleaded the causes of my soul. Thou hast redeemed my life, O Lord. Thou hast seen my wrong. Judge thou my cause. And I'm just like, I feel like I have just the sense of fear, and it is something that I have to work on. And working with faith, and I'm just having like this inner monologue with God, and I'm like, you gave me the trials to bring me back to you. I'm still dealing with these trials because faith without tests is not proven true. So he let me know really quick. He's like, I'm pruning you. I'm working it out of you. Some people it's one and done, but for me, he's like, I'm working it out for you. And then I had in my mind, just influenced by the Holy Spirit, now that I fight for my breath, now that I fight to keep breathing, I see why it was important for him to keep me breathing when I did not want to be. And this is something that I've never shared publicly, never, because I had a custody case, and in that custody case, every bit of I wouldn't disclose the information, but somehow they figure it out and use it against me. The fact that I was getting help for things like PTSD and depression, it was being used against me to take away the time of my son. That's something that I work every single day of forgiving and understanding, and just trying to, you know, find a way to not harbor resentment or hatred for that, because in that time I have to understand that his father was looking at it from a different standpoint. So I've never shared this story out loud before, and I think that maybe it's so important for me to share it now because of everything going on with this Tylenol thing, okay? So back in July of 2016, I was at work that day, and I was so depressed, so hurt. So from 2014, I had lost custody of my son for depression. I went to the hospital for a 3-day voluntary hold, and I came out and my son was gone with his father, an emergency order. So right there, it was, okay, I'm going to get help for my mental health, and it's going to be used against me, and it's going to make me lose my son, who was at the time my only reason. A month after losing custody of my oldest son, my brother was hit by a car and did not make it. And I tried to drink away my sorrows, and I couldn't get drunk. And I'd never been drunk, but I tried. I really tried to mask that feeling. And 2 months after my brother passed away, a close friend of mine was killed in a car accident where he was intoxicated. And I was like, okay, wake up, stop drinking. That's not the right way to go about it. Soon after that, I found out I was pregnant with my second son, and the person, his father, he was not the best person. I, however, did not find that out until I was already 3 months pregnant. I got pregnant pretty immediately, because at that time in my life, sex was the only thing that could numb my pain, even for the slightest bit. So after about a year, and it was just about a year, no, not just about, hold on, it was also July of 2016. So my middle son, he was born July of 2015. It was a few days before his first birthday. I was at work, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I just can't do it. Dealing with the abuse at home, it was emotional abuse, financial abuse. I was working 60 hours at my job, isolated in a cubicle, and then I was going four nights a week, an hour away to go to college. My now ex-husband, he's sat at home with our son. He didn't cook, he didn't clean, he didn't take care of anything. So I'd come home and I'd have to take care of everything, and in the few hours that I had, I was just so drained, and I did not have God as any part of my life. Honestly, I was more on the spiritual side, because I had just recently came out of witchcraft whenever all of this stuff was going on. And so that day at work, all I had with me was a bottle of acetaminophen. Tylenol, okay? A bottle of acetaminophen. And I took as many as I could swallow. In a short amount of time, I was in the bathroom. And right after I'd done it, I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Because now I've left my son with this man that I'm trying to get away from. And I had other trauma. I had been R-worded by 3 individuals within the 3-year span, and the custody, and losing people that I love, and nothing was helping. So it took a 2-minute decision for me to do that, and I regretted it instantly. So I went back to my cubicle, and I was sitting there, and I was like, what do I do? And then I was like, okay, I'll go talk to this lady. And I had her come outside to the break room with me. And I was telling her, I was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. And I was like, telling her, like, I'm really dealing with this. I'm really struggling with this. And she's like, well, just, you gotta be strong. And I was like, I've already taken stuff. And she went and got my manager, and he took me to the security office. So they called an ambulance to come pick me up. And I'm on my knees on the floor, dry heaving. It's like I feel like I need to throw up. And they were just like, why would you do that? How stupid do you have to be to do that? And they just made fun of me. While I dry heaved. Now fighting for my life, trying to fight for my life. And I get in the ambulance, and they were going to hook me up to the monitor and everything, and there was this older man. He sat back there with me. He's like, no, we're not going to hook her up to anything. I'll talk with her, and I'm telling her, like, everything that has gone on and why I made that rash decision. And he showed me compassion, and he was the only person that showed me compassion. And he gave me his phone to call my mother, and I called my mother, and she is mad. She's just angry. It's like, I'll be there in a minute. You know, she's just upset with me because I was stupid. I did something stupid. And nobody understood really the gravity of it, but I start throwing up black. Just black. And I hadn't eaten anything either other than a Kit Kat and an energy drink. And and they gave me a drink to make it come out, to flush my system. I took way over the daily dose. Like, I should have been dead. I should have been dead. I overdosed on Tylenol. That was the only thing I had. I overdosed on Tylenol, and I remember the doctor coming in there. He said, it is a miracle. It is a miracle that you are not in liver failure. And I didn't even realize it at that time, because I wasn't praying to God to keep me alive. I was fighting for myself. I wasn't praying to God. And I kept that a secret. I kept it a secret for all of these years. And I know that God wants me to share my testimony, and is like, God, can I share part of it? I don't want to share all of it, because what if it comes to bite me back? This happened in 2016. So, and it was rough. It was rough. My husband, at the time, he didn't care. Found out I was in the hospital, that I was taken from work early, and he was like, well, you need to hurry up and get home so you can help me with the baby. The next day, he tries to sleep with me, and obviously I've just been through something traumatic. I don't want to touch him. I don't want to touch him. And he says I should have just been gay, because at least a guy would want to all the time. And that was the love that I had. And I stayed with him. For a couple more years. And it took my ex taking me back to court, because my husband was a pothead, even though I passed my drug test, because I don't do drugs. Thank God I didn't ever get addicted to any drugs. I didn't do any drugs. But It took me going through another custody battle, losing more time. Woof, stink bug. Losing more time on my oldest son before I finally left that marriage. And since then, that man has abandoned our son. And now I am remarried. Happily remarried. So happily remarried with another son and a stepson. And my older boys love him. And he's gonna adopt my middle son. And it's like, why did all of that have to happen? I don't know. But I made it through it. I made it through it. And now I am for Jesus, and I am all the way for Jesus. And it may have taken me years to even realize back then how much he held on to my life and kept me alive, even though I was not living for him. I was not speaking out for him. But now, years later, I can still use the same back then to see where he was in my life all of this time. So I just felt like I needed to share that, put on my spirit. Now that I am fighting to breathe, I'm fighting to keep breath in my lungs. I understand why it was important that he kept me breathing when I didn't want to be, and that was a true miracle. I am a literal miracle. And you guys don't overtake Tylenol. I don't care who said what. This is backed by science. Nobody should be taking Tylenol whenever it is not necessarily needed, and there are warnings all over it. Don't be ignorant. Don't be fooled and overcome with so much hatred that you damage your body for good. There's already been pregnant women die because of ignorance, and I don't even want to speak on it much, but as somebody who has had an overdose on Tylenol, I can't take medications like I used to. I have to be very careful. My body has been forever changed. It was a miracle that I survived. I metabolize differently. My immune system acts different. So just take it from me, please. Take it from me. And you might feel like you don't want your breath right now, but there's a reason that God still has you breathing. Whether you believe in him or not, there's always a reason that you are still breathing. I love you all, okay? I love you all. Thank you for listening. And, bye-bye.